Hello, SMR speaking.
Has the thought of having a more realistic experience playing video games ever occurred to you? We here at Argus have the product of the century to help solve those problems.
I'm sorry, I'm not interested in what you're selling. Hello, SMR speaking.
Hi, Kaya here, introducing the Nerve Gear, the world's first full-time virtual reality headset. Now you're probably saying, but Kayaba, the Oculus Rift already exists. Right you are, but can the Rift take you into the game?
Alright, I don't know who gave you this number, but stop calling me. Goodbye. Hello, SMR speaking.
The Nerve Gear uses patented virtual reality.
I give up.
Literally sends you into the game. Now instead of only seeing your character die from a 360 no-scope to the forehead, you can actually die from it and never come back. It's that easy. Now how much does a product like this cost? $1,500? $2,000? $5,000? No, you can get the Nerve Gear along with a free copy of our newest game, Sword Art Online, for 10 easy payments of $100. But wait, there is more. If you sign a waiver saying we aren't liable for anything involving your death or any other hazardous conditions that might happen to you, we'll double your order for free. Just pay for processing and handling. You'll get 2 Nerve Gear helmets and 2 copies of Sword Art Online for 10 easy payments of $100. Are you interested in our product, sir?
Okay, I'm going to tell you this one last time. I'm not interested in your Nerve Gear, and please, for the love of anime, stop calling this number. For the last frickin' time, stop calling me! I'm sorry, sir, but this is the first time I've called you. My name is Kazuto Kirigaya, and I'm working with the anime industry to try and better the working conditions for animators. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been getting stupid calls all morning, but yes, I am interested. Great, we actually have an animator here that would like to talk to you. And his name is John C. You son of a... Sometimes there comes along an anime that is so popular that people won't stop talking about it, whether it be in a positive or negative sense. These anime can be someone's favorite, or they can be so bad that people would list them as the worst thing they ever watched. When something like this becomes so popular, society wants to take sides on how good it actually is, such is the case with today's review. What's up guys, it's Kent from Spartan Media Reviews, here to discuss the widely controversial 2012 anime, Sword Art Online. Does this show deserve a watch? Let's find out. Our story takes place in the newest VR MMORPG called Sword Art Online, a game where you play as the character thanks to the mind functions of the headgear. The story follows our main protagonist, Kirito, a tech-savvy beta tester for Sword Art Online. Unfortunately for the players, one day they are unable to log out from the game and discover that the only way to leave is to complete the game in its entirety. Adding insult to injury, if you die in the game, you die in real life. So Kirito, along with various players he meets along the way, try to complete the game to get back to the real world. Sword Art Online's first few episodes gave way to some depressing themes in our characters, which made for an enticing start to the series. Some players gave up on ever leaving and decided to just stay there, while others tried their best to leave and go back home, but died in the process of doing so. Unfortunately, after the first couple of episodes, the story takes a huge dive into the ground. It seemed as if the creator turned this life or death story into a disappointing romance with Kirito and our other lead protagonist, Asuna. As if the story couldn't get any worse, the second half really dropped the ball even more in multiple areas. And don't even get me started on the romance throughout the series. If the writers thought that this was true love, then they have been watching the wrong content. Overall, this story had so much going for it, but the creators wasted the great opportunities they had and created another cheesy, underdeveloped harem anime with visually appealing fight sequences. Talk about misused potential. Sword Art Online had such a great opportunity to develop its characters. Aincrad as a world houses many different types of people, which could give way to some nice character development and interactions in both our main and supporting characters. However, considering that the story's execution was so poorly done, the characters, both in terms of personality and development, fall flat on their faces. The cast of Sword Art Online is rather large, with some of the supporting characters getting an episode dedicated to themselves and Kirito, but to say that the characters are developed in any sense would be a definite false statement. Kirito as a main character can be described in one word: overpowered. In one episode, he took on an entire group of killers and defeated them by not even attacking. This aspect wouldn't have bothered me nearly as much as it did, considering considering we see other characters in different series overpower their enemies, but the way it is described is so unorthodox and unheard of that it is only there for plot convenience. We are supposed to believe that he leveled up to such a high state in such a short amount of time all by himself in an MMORPG which rewards party play compared to single players. The rest of the cast is just as forgettable and underdeveloped. At first I liked the way that Asuna progressed as a character, but then they turned her into a damsel in distress, literally doing a 180 from what her personality was in the beginning of the series. Supporting characters were disappointing as well. They were there to help create plot devices so Kirito could save them in such an easy manner. Overall, Sword Art Online's characters could have been something worthwhile, but due to poor execution and bad storytelling, fall in the same category as other generic action/harem series. Sword Art Online was animated by A1 Pictures. The animation of Sword Art Online is one of the high points of the series, along with its soundtrack. The battles in this show and the size of the bosses are fantastic and left me wanting more of them. The world building inside Sword Art Online is large, and the series is able to execute this part correctly. One episode they are in a large field fighting monsters, with the next episode being located in an enormous dungeon. I also thought that the character designs looked really nice, so much so that I bought a wall scroll of Kirito and Asuna. The general animation of the show was also well done, creating a beautiful work of art for its time. The soundtrack of Sword Art Online was excellent and definitely helped bring the mood into the different categories of the show. Both openings of the show were great, but I liked the second opening a little bit more. The dub for the show was also very good, having a voice cast consisting of Todd Haberkorn, Bryce Papenbrook, Jeremy Lee, and many others. Overall, I was impressed with the soundtrack, and the dub was a very nice surprise as well. Now, with everything that I have said, do I recommend watching Sword Art Online? Personally, I would pass on this one. I'm assuming that the majority of you have seen SAO, but if you haven't yet, then the choice of watching it is up to you. If you are looking for mindless fun, then Sword Art Online is worth a watch. Otherwise, I would stay away from this series. Sword Art Online is a show with lots of tremendous potential, but fails to hit the mark with some of its bad storylines and unimpressive character development. Sure, it was a fun show to watch, and there were some highly enjoyable episodes, but the overall feel of the story fell short. Sword Art Online is not the worst show like people proclaim, nor is it the greatest show ever. Overall, I would say that Sword Art Online is a show that will make you rage at times, but it will also redeem itself with some good episodes. Spartan Media Reviews gives the first season of Sword Art Online a 4 out of 10 and a bad recommendation. If you are interested in watching Sword Art Online, you can check it out for free over on Crunchyroll. Also, what are your thoughts on Sword Art Online? Comment below. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. You can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I would really appreciate that as well. Follow me on Twitter and Hummingbird to keep up to date with the current things that I am doing. And with all that said, I will catch you guys in my next review. Thank you for watching.